So things have been a little bit slower on certain pieces. So I'm gonna go around asking the team, what are our fastest sellers and what are our slowest sellers? Pretty interested on what they're gonna say. I think my answer is gonna be very similar to Lake and Alex. My quick sellers, RM, obviously anything below 50K. Above 100K, which is primarily what we sell. I think right now, a CB Blue, Journe, always sells very, very quick. RM 6701 titanium, Rolex 126506, either baguette dial or regular dial. And then for AP, it has to be a 15407 ST steel. Such a demanded watch. I mean, since it's been discontinued, it's even more demanded than prior, but that watch has always been in demand. It's always been on someone's grail list. So those are my top 5. Now, slowest sellers, vintage watches. Vintage for us has been very, very slow. There are some really cool vintage pieces out there, but I think the market and demand is kind of shrunk. You know, vintage Daytonas are slower sellers, vintage GMTs, even Patek's, like cool, like 3970s, 5971s are slower. And then for RM, I think it's got to be like the super specialty, like RM11, you know, Ghost, stuff like that. Those watches are awesome, but they're definitely really slow sellers being limited. Let's go over and see what the guys have to say.
I would say for FP Journe, like whenever we get super rare pieces, that shit's sold before it even arrives. Like any of those super rare pieces, we kind of know exactly who we're going to sell it to. It's not a piece that kind of comes in, we have to market it. It's literally, we shoot it out to 3-4 people. One of those people is going to confirm it before we even see the watch. Another watch I think sells really fast is Patek. Like Patek sport watches, primarily 5712s. I feel like the margins are a little bit lower, but there are so many wholesale outlets and a ton of retail outlets as well. Those pieces are here for literally 2 seconds and then they're out the door. For Richard Mille, 6702 has been flying. I mean, I feel like when we get them, they are literally gone in 2 days. I know we have another one coming in. That's probably gonna leave quite soon. For AP, I feel like a lot of the demand for AP is only towards skeleton watches. So the 15407 being like the base skeleton, I feel like whenever we get that watch, it moves really fast. Sometimes other more complex AP Torbs, higher price point APs over the 200K mark, those I would say move a bit slower than like a 15407, 15305.
I did just certain reference numbers, but in general is exactly what I said. Considering the demand and how fast those move, it also makes me think they still have room to go up. I mean, the demand for those is absolutely insane.
Whenever you look at like certain brands, you really want to accentuate the value that that brand really does better than anyone else. And AP really does skeletonized watches better than any other brand.
You think that APs have better skeleton dials than RM?
Completely different. I would still say that the aesthetic of RM is not as important to the sale of an RM, whereas I would say the most important thing for RM is more focused on wearability and comfort, and I would say aesthetic is number 2. The way in which you kind of like...
I think aesthetic is super important. Look at like a 3302. Utility on it's great, but the circle just doesn't catch as well as like a tono shape.
100%.
So I think a tono shape is key. Whatever color, you know, material, it's kind of all the same.
And I think that AP, they're different. I mean, the RMs, I just kind of put it in a different category of skeletonized watch than I would in AP. Skeletons are the watch within AP that do trade the best. And we've had Torbs that have been stuck for a long period of time, especially super rare APs, like upwards of $250, $300, $400,000. Sometimes they move quick. I would say RM in general does move a bit quicker than AP. I really don't think that perpetual calendar APs, the Torbs do sell as quickly as, let's just say, the skeletonized watches.
I agree with Lake with APs, 15407s, stainless, sell very fast. I feel like recently jumbos, I feel like we haven't been getting them, but we've been getting requested on those a lot and we haven't been able to like buy them because they're so high. I feel like they're selling immediately. Journe, anything that's platinum salmon and 40 millimeter. Platinum salmon res, I feel like we sold those before they even landed, and then platinum salmon optimum. We sold one and then we kept posting like videos of it because it's a cool watch and I'd get hit up on it like left and right as it's still available. Probably said no over 100 times. Super demanded watch. RM, 6702. I think we already pre-sold in Italy that's coming, and then 6701, those are super hot. In terms of stuff that doesn't sell for RM, I think a colored watch. So if it's like a blue ceramic, I remember we had like the PSG for a while, or the EMEA, we had that for a super long time. Stuff that's like NCPT will sell immediately, but I feel like colored ceramic doesn't do great. From Patek, I think we had a 5905 1A 3 different times for an extended period of time, and a 5205 as well. Had those for a really long time.
I knew that we would would all say the same thing.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much spot on. So what I said for my 5 was CB from Journe, 5968A, 6701, 15407 ST, 126506, whether it's baguette or stick dial. Those are just, they sell like lightning. And then for my 5 ones that don't move is basically like anything vintage for us is just tough.
Vintage can just be such a pain in the ass.
The demand in general has really...
Yeah, it brings like a very specific niche clientele that's either
I'm talking vintage like
6263.
pre-1990 stuff is just tough.
We've had that Balotelli for a long time.
Yeah, and they're really special watches. Like I think there's gonna be a phase where it kicks back in, 1000%. But right now, it's definitely pretty slow.
Rolex, what's like a tough Rolex to sell?
Tough Rolex to sell?
RBRs.
RBRs
Oh, yeah.
and TBRs, ombre bracelet, because you know the bracelet's technically an extra 45K. You know, trying to get that back to sell to someone is just like brutal.
I feel like Arabic stuff's been harder to move.
Arabic has been harder to move.
What you think, some people just
Yeah.
don't really care about the premium of it.
That's died. It used to be huge. When the market was up in 2022, those were going for a ton of money. Now it's definitely died.
Just like a public service announcement, I've been running into this quite a bit recently, is a lot of my clients are trying to trade in their offshores with baguettes with turbs, and then they're buying it for like these crap retail prices, and they think that the market on them is like 60% higher than what they are. I've ran into it like that, and the concepts. Concepts is not as bad. Don't get fished into buying that. Trust
Alec
me.
makes a very, very good point, because there are watches when you're buying a watch from the AD and you're looking online where the prices that they're selling for aren't that bad, but what they actually sell for is like half of that. Feel free to call us. I'm happy to give, you know, quick advice. Is it worth it to buy an offshore turb or something like that? Is it really worth it? Because people list them high thinking, you know, maybe one day they'll get a call for it and they can source it and make some money. Sure. But what they actually sell for, and if you need it like liquid cash like this and you don't want to wait around to sell it, brutal. I mean, codes are even worse.
And even buying them from secondary, because like some of these dealers have just been sitting on this watch for so long, they just refuse to like let it go for less than the number they had in mind. And then they have it listed at those prices that are basically 50% more of what it should go for. And then they sell it, and then they come to us and they're just like, you paid $60,000 too much for that watch.
And we feel bad. Hear it in some of our clients' voices. I mean, they definitely get sick to their stomach. I would be as well too. Numbers posted online, you don't really know the true sales number. It's like you're taking a gamble. You don't think you're taking a gamble because you're like, man, how low can this really sell for? In our minds, it's like, yeah, pretty goddamn low.
It's like buying a Cybertruck. Like you want to be the first one to have it and you want to look cool, but in a couple years, it's a quarter of the value. Last week we had a few big trade-ins. I've kind of just been eyeballing what we have, try to figure out where I can wholesale some of these watches, what watches I could offer to retail clients right now. It's actually funny, like the more I just like stare at the case and the watches that we have, the more ideas and different trades I have in mind with different dealers as to what they may have put calls out in the chats, and then maybe think about stuff that they have that we could trade into. Pretty common practice is when we have certain watches that we can't sell, I like to use the network I have with dealers or clients and try to work a trade deal if you're not going to pay immediate cash. So there's a few guys local that I think can sell stuff like this very quickly. 2021 Meteorite, Pepsi Meteorite, white gold. They've actually gone up a fair amount. They were like low 50s for the longest time. We just sold a brand new one for 63. It's not surprising, as you guys probably know that everything's kind of going up. Another crazy deal that we just got in. I don't know how we haven't sold this yet. This is a 2020 new card, Day Date Platinum Meteorite. This one we're asking $68,000. I think that's a steal for this watch. Platinum and Meteorite. The one caveat is that it's not the fluted bezel, but it's a steel bezel. I still think it's a really sick watch. That's another good thing to keep in consideration, that if you guys have just like random, whether it's like boxes, links, RM straps, we're always buyers for those. No matter what, we'll buy it. To stock this all day, I think we're paying like $1,400 to $1,600 depending on condition. As you guys know, Garrett talks about it a lot, about how crappy the condition of RM boxes are. So we always like to keep RM boxes in stock, especially when we get brand new RMs. times you want to sell it with a brand new box. And a lot of times dealers, unfortunately, what they try to do is they try to like cut corners and nickel and dime. So they'll give you a brand new watch with a pamphlet that's beat up with a beat up box. So obviously we can't present a brand new watch with a beat up box. So it's good to always have good boxes in stock, especially Journe. Those buyers are a bit more critical. You want a complete set 100% of the time with Journe. So those boxes, Lake told me last week, they're around $7,000, which is freaking crazy. I mean, I feel like one day people are gonna start making prototype. I feel like people don't really know that much about Journe to start doing that crap yet, but it still blows my mind. I mean, it kind of looks like it has like a cork finish. It kind of looks like it. It's like a faux cork. Cool, nice wooden box. Okay. For $7,000. Jesus. It's kind of interesting, like Patek boxes, when you take out inner part of like the case of the watch box, they actually have their own serial number right here. Good way to identify if it's real or fake. This is how it's calendared. Just the finishing on this. Some of like the faker ones, I mean, it's just like pretty obvious, and just like the texture doesn't feel quite the same. Another big thing is, like I was just saying earlier, just looking here, because I've seen fake ones where you take out this part, and it has its own serial number right here, and sometimes it doesn't have it. Also just the texture, the smell. This would make more sense to me, honestly, if this was $7,000. I mean, compared to the Journe boxes, I mean, I think that these are way more nice, and just like the whole presentation. Like if it's your first Patek, I think that it's just more of like anticipation, because there's like more layers to take off. You got like a nice duffel here. It's way cooler. These are around $2,000. It's just good to make sure you're getting your watches from a good source, because I mean, there's so many different components and different ways people are trying to cut corners just to save a few bucks on their end. Unfortunately, keeping track of your guys' papers, make sure that's completely authentic. Obviously the watch, and then just little things like the boxes, like it adds up. You're losing $1,000 to $2,000 if you accidentally get a fake box. So we're paying attention to it, and we're learning every day, and we're starting to catch that stuff. So luckily it doesn't really happen, but it's just one of those things to keep track of for sure.